It's cold. It's dark outside. A lot of loving kindness is needed. Rodney and I just talked about this before the show. We were like, it's too much. It's too much, and the suffering is too great. And so I'll just do a couple of bits before we get into the meditation. And the beauty about bits, like comedy bits, is that if you're laughing, if you laugh and you say ha 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 ha, this is what the Zen call no mind. So actually, comedy is the most powerful meditation. But we'll talk about that another time. And today I wanted to actually tell you guys a couple of things that happened to me related to loving kindness. One, I had 2 dates on Tinder, and I was, that's what we're talking. That's valid. My feelings are valid. Thank you. And so I had 2 dates, but I also work at this job where the guy who's my manager, he's really sad and he's really lonely all the time. And I guess, it just sounded when I got there that poor guy's just not getting laid. In my head, I assumed he's soft, which is a very non-loving kindness mentality to have. I shouldn't have thought that. But anyway, I had 2, so last week I had 2 dates on the weekend. 2 dates set up, good dates, cool activity, not bullshit, not let's go have dinner dates. No, talking proper, we're gonna go on a hike, we're gonna go to an escape room, do something cool, then we'll have a drink, then we'll smoke a joint, look at a haunted house, something. You know what I'm saying? I like to keep my dates very exciting like that. And I had 2 dates planned for the weekend. And I knew this guy who's my manager, he had been complaining about how nobody wants to, he's having a hard time with women. So I came in a little cocky, and that's my sin, and that's my mistake. So I came in a little cocky that day, and I was like, guys. It was him and just 2 guys at work that are just I feel like not getting laid. So I go in, I'm like, guys, 2 dates this weekend. What's up? What are you doing? Figure it out. I came in hot. I came in ripping on this guy. Just rip because all the women at work, they all rip him too. So as soon as I started working, all the girls at work are like, dude, you're being a loser. Just go outside. Forget it. Calm down. Believe in yourself. They're just mad at him. They're like, dude, you sound like nobody would want to date you. You're being weird. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I tell them about my 2 dates on the weekend. And as I'm telling them, one of them says, hey, show me the picture. So I go in to get the picture. And after, she's called me a cutie. We got plans, all this stuff, right? I go in, it's deleted. I don't know. Just can't see it anymore. It's very common, actually. It's actually quite common that they just delete it. You know what I'm saying? They just don't. And that's fine that she deleted it. It was just weird, the timing, because I was being all cocky with them. And then one of them had deleted it by the time I showed them. Anyway, that's not the main part of the story. The main part of the story is after that, the manager, he's like, hey man, can we talk for a minute? Whatever, just an hour later. So I sit down, he closes the door. I'm like, this is weird, right? And he basically tells me, right? After I told him about my, I guess, technical ghost. I mean, can we call it a ghost? It is kind of a technical ghost because I've never met the person. So I guess, so after I tell him about my technical ghost, in my head, I'm thinking maybe he's mad. Maybe I maybe I went too far and he's pissed. And he basically closed the door, and so this is actually really sad. He basically closed the door and he was like, hey, everyone here knows this, but you're new, I haven't told you yet. And he basically told me that his girlfriend committed suicide. I know that's a lot. That's a lot. And it's dark and it's sad and it's terrible. And I felt so ashamed of myself because as I'm telling him about a technical ghost, he's telling me about a literal ghost. That's literal ghosting, right? And he kind of blames himself for it, and that's one of the big reasons why I think it's so important that we do a meditation like this, because we sat, I cried with him. We sat for an hour. And it was I didn't even, I had work to do, but it's he's the manager. So if I'm sitting with him, I'm sitting with him. Well, we sat for an hour and I cried and I said, I basically dropped a teaching on him from here, and then he cried too, and then he's been texting me saying like, yo, that really helped. So that's how powerful the teachings are. That's how much I think they're necessary right now. Yeah, can you believe it? Literal ghost. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that all the girls at work are just like, dude, stop being a crybaby. Like, they're all ripping him. But he does play into it a bit himself, so that's fine. I want to tell you guys another quick little bit before we get to the meditation. I want to tell you guys about my uncle. I went to see my uncle in the hospital. He's sick. And I think this is very important and very relevant for the meditation today, because loving kindness, this is how hard it is to tell someone about loving kindness. Like, this is all the bits I'm going to do is just going to be about like, try telling someone loving kindness is the most powerful meditation. They're going to be like, dude, you're a loser. You're soft. You're soft. So I went to see my and uncle. I don't want to say like he's not a literal uncle, but if you're brown, just a bunch of people are your uncle, and aunt and cousins, whatever. So he's like this uncle. He's in a hospital so close to the house that I just have to go. I gotta go. You know why? You go because it fills you up with loving kindness. Actually, it's very nice to visit when you finally go to visit seniors in the old age home. You never want to go, and then you go and you're like, why don't I just hang out? They're just so happy to see you. You know what I'm saying? And you got to get those karmas in, because when you're old, no one's going to come see your ass. So something to keep in mind. But anyway, my uncle's in. So one of my uncles, he's in the hospital. He can't move. He can't walk. And I'm playing him some stuff from BK Shivani. I don't know if you guys know who BK Shivani is, but she's one of the most powerful loving kindness gurus in the game right now. Why don't I just share it with you? Because she is incredible, and she's so sweet and like believes in loving kindness and all that stuff. And hold on a second, let me just show you. I don't want to play the clip because I don't know where it's going to be at, but I'll just show you who she is, because let's give the proper shout out. This is a loving kindness meditation after all, so let's just give our shout outs. BK Shivani, here we go. This is BK Shivani. So just the most powerful teacher in loving kindness meditation, really in the game right now. She's killing it. Videos going viral, Hindi and English, like Osho. She's killing it, and all the teachings are just love yourself, forgive yourself. You've done nothing wrong. This is the kinds of teachings. This is what loving kindness really teaches, and we'll get into that in a second. But I'm showing this to my uncle. First minute, he's like, "Wow, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. Like I needed this." He was saying, right? And then I said, "Okay, let's do a meditation." Another 30 seconds into the meditation, he says, "Turn it off. I don't have time for this shit." Really? You don't have time for this shit? He said it like that, and he's a Patel. You know, that's what really hurt. That's the worst thing about it. He's a Patel. He's a Hindu. Bhakti is one of our most powerful teachings. And but that's how powerful the ego is, and that's how powerful, I guess, the collective ego is in telling us that, like, really? Your big moves are going to be loving kindness? Is that it? Nobody wants to buy it. Nobody wants to admit that it's true. And I guess in a lot of ways, that is the game, you know? That is the game that we're playing. And I'll get into that in a second as well. What else did I want to tell you guys about? I guess I could tell you about this. Like, there's the biggest celebrity in Bollywood. This is actually very important for the culture too. Biggest celebrity in Bollywood, the most famous person, Shah Rukh Khan, the Hindu nationalist government, and they are openly Hindu nationalist government in India. They just put his son in jail just for bullshit, just nonsense. Put this guy in jail, and it's basically their way of being like, we're cracking down on Muslims. And a lot of people, even in my family, are like, oh, you gotta, you know, they support it. And you know what? You know the hard thing about that is that because Modi is Gujarati, I'm Patel, they're Patel. You know, it is kind of like black people with Obama. You can't tell them like, oh, with Syrian drone strikes, they don't give a shit. So I said, my family, I'm like, dude, like, look at what he's doing. And they say, no, the Hindu will rise. They don't care about anything. They're like, look, this happened. No, this is the propaganda. The Hindu will rise. That's all they care about. You know what I'm saying? So I have to tell them, like, Like, you know, there's a couple of things going on there. So one thing is Shah Rukh Khan is married to a Hindu girl, and they have a son, and then the Hindu nationalists put the son in jail. And in general, right now, in India, they're actually cracking down on cross-religion marriages. So like when a Muslim guy marries a Hindu girl, they'll go bring back, basically kidnap the girl, bring her back. They'll be like, no, it's not a real marriage. It's just a sex trafficking thing. And these guys are, you know what I mean? Like it's illegal or whatever, right? And so I can't believe how many people in my family are just like, yeah, well, they are. They're taking the girls. There's not enough girls. Who's my son gonna marry? Like that's the kind of response I'm getting from people. Like, who's my son gonna marry? We gotta bring them back. And what a bunch of haters, you know what I'm saying? And the weird thing is, like, in the summer, I was talking to this girl about it, and in my head, I just thought, like, this is the same bullshit, like, incel shit that we have in America. Like, so much of a Republican politics is just Hindu nationalist politics. It's like the same thing. They're just, one's Christian, one's Hindu, but even the enemy is the same, which is Islam, I guess. But it's interesting because I remember I was telling someone about this, and I was just assuming that, like, she's very, like, liberal. So I just thought, like, she was like, yeah, of course, like yeah, these Hindus are being out of pocket. Like these dudes, like nobody wants to bang them. Is there any kids here? No kids. Nobody wants to fuck these guys, and they're just like, just go get these girls. That basically what's saying. It's an incel. It's a collective incel shit, and they're using it as an excuse, maybe even to go to attack Pakistan and all this stuff, right? But I was telling someone, and they were saying, yeah, there are these like marriage conversion gangs. That's a weird spot. I felt it's weird, but at the same time, I felt weird because I did feel like I just told all these cousins of mine that, like, you idiot, it's a conspiracy. There's no way that's happening. Why would anyone do that? First of all, do you know how much a wedding costs? If someone's like, my first thought when I heard this was like, if they're willing to pay for the wedding, I was like, yo, are they paying for the wedding? Fucking take it, dude. Who gives a shit? My cousin got married, $100,000. First wedding. Divorced in 6 months. Second wedding, still $80,000. They're broke. These guys are paying for the wedding. These guys are paying for the wedding. Who gives a shit? But it is. Anyway, I was telling this girl,